I, on behalf of Mukshatan Yog Sansthan, welcome you all to the third session of Day 3 of Global Yoga Conference 2022. For this session, we are honored to have among us Ma Prem Karuna ji, yoga teacher and somatic therapist from Brazil. Founder of Ma Yoga in Brazil, she has traveled widely to conduct yoga sessions and deliver yoga lectures. We are honored to have her among us today to speak on the concept of green yoga.
Namaste. First of all, I would like to thank the opportunity to be part of the Global Yoga Conference. I appreciate the invitation, and I'm here to talk about green yoga. So for me, yoga is also an internal ecology. I don't know if you know, ecology means oikos from Greek. That means house. And logos, the study. So is the study of the house. And it refers to the interactions that happens in the environment. So if we understand that life is about interactions and transformation along the time, we can also make like a comparison that yoga is the ecology of life, because we are always looking for our own house and looking for the relationships between us, between the divine and between everyone. And it's also a process of transformation. So when we understand that we also made part of the environment, it's almost impossible to not look for green yoga. So green yoga, it will talk about how we behave in the environment, how our attitudes is, let's say, impacting the environment. And also, if we look for yoga philosophy and we go back to yamas and niyamas, we understand that yoga talks about a lot of these behaviors and these observations that we need to have a better relationship with the environment and with everyone. And of course, with the divine that it's within us. So when you understand also that yoga is our own life, we need to go through the areas of our life and understand how it's been the relationship we are having with all the people and beings in general in all these areas. So if we go, for example, for the relationships with our parents. So at the beginning, our parents is our heroes, and they are our own lives, and everything that happens with us, in some way we connect with them. So all, let's say, our uds, our suffering comes also because of the relationship we have with our parents. And this will start to determine, to, let's say, create us in the terms of personality And if we don't look to that, we're going to be part of our lives as our parents, or we're going to be against our parents because we don't have the issues sorted inside. So it's necessary to understand how this relationship is impacting our lives. And because of that, we are also doing the same thing with other people and with the environment in general. And this includes nature and the animals, water, soils, air. So it's like 100% sure that if you have a good relationship with your parents, it means that you have a good relationship with people, with environment, with nature. And if you received love, you're also going to give love. So if you don't care very much with the environment, there are some relations between how you feel, let's say, angry or upset with your parents, and the way you deal and you act with nature and some animals. And by the time we grow, let's say this, we also choose people that has a connection with what happened in this first and second centennial. It means until the 14 years old. And if you also don't look for that, you're gonna marry with your dad, with your mom, and you're gonna repeat the same things again, because part of you want to sort this out. So if you, let's say, use your relationships as self-knowledge, you will have a good relationship, and this will contribute to the, let's say, world, to the community, to the social. So it's very important that we understand how we relate with everything, because this will impact everyone. And in the same reasoning, if we go to the social, so we were born in a capitalistic world. So we live in a world where we explore the nature, we explore the animals, we are very, let's say, directed to earn money, and sometimes we don't think about, let's say, the spiritual values. We believe what the science says, and we are very centered in ourselves, our ego. And because of that, we live the world we live. So we have an evilness, people that earn a lot of money and people that had nothing. We live, let's say, abuse in different ways, not only sexual, but also intellectual and of power. We live in a world where we have to compete all the time with everyone. and we cannot be ourselves. We have to correspond to some model of success so that we can be loved, so that we can be recognized instead of just being ourselves. So sometimes we also do some, let's say, exploitation with children, with women. So we want to earn money with them, and we also do that with animals. So it's the, let's say, the distortion of almost everything that we came here to live. And we do that because, again, we are not thinking about how we are, let's say, engaged with everything. So what I'm saying, it's very obvious, but we have to direct our eyes to that, because it's obvious, but we are not making anything to change. So if we start to just make this superficial analysis of how we are dealing with everything and how the world is constructed, we come to understand that, again, we need to use yamas and yamas, and we need to use the word, the yoga, apply to our daily life. And that means that we have to, let's say, apply ahimsa, we have to apply asteya, we have to apply brahmacharya, because we cannot consume everything that we want, and we cannot be, let's say, impelled to our 5 cents and do whatever we want. We cannot eat as much as we want, and we cannot be so, let's say, polluted in all the senses, because our mind gets polluted. So if you start to reveal the yamas and niyamas and put this to all the aspects, we can see that yoga has the solution for everything. And I'm talking yamas and niyamas because it's very the basic, but if we go even deeper, we can understand how yoga philosophy is very important and rich for the application into our daily lives. So I have this question. If everyone was applying ahimsa, we would, let's say, eat meat, we would exploit the forests, we would allow slavery work, we would have the courage to say offenses, say, let's say, strong words because of our anger. And if we also applied asteya, would the word be so cruel in the sense of taking to itself what is not from yourself, from what is not yours, right? So it's very simple. but we actually don't think in this sense. And because it's lacking this basic philosophy, we again are living in a world where it seems there is no ethic and not basic fundamental yoga philosophy. So continuing in this thinking, if everyone, let's say, was connected with Asteya, Ahimsa, Satya, Aparigrara, do you think that we would leave this economy as we are? And again, people suffering because have nothing and others taking advantage of that. And another way of, let's say, putting in, also bringing here to give reflections, is if we had all these basic principles very inside us, would we use the masks and the fears and the pride and all, let's say, this lack, instead of being ourselves? And again, how this is impacting everything. So we need to understand life as yoga. Instead, bringing yoga to our life. Because if you look to what life is trying to teach you, you see that is what yoga is saying all the time. And this is so beautiful. And if we really understand these yamas and niyamas, and also the essence of only the yamas and niyamas is bringing, the world would be completely different. And we would have friendship, we would have respect, we would have love to all the beings. And these are the steps we need to have the, let's say, revelation of who we are. Because this is the trail, this is the path that we need to transpass, better saying. If we don't have this in mind, and if we don't have this based on us, we cannot grow spiritually. We cannot evolve. So it's looking for the small things. So how much water are you wasting in your bath? Are you recycling your waste? Are you choosing food that is organic and help the small predators and it's not damaging the soil and the water? Are you choosing vegan products that are against the animals suffering? Are you thinking before saying something that will, let's say, hurt someone, and in some time this will come back to you and you will suffer the reaction of that, and it will hurt you again, and again you will feel anger, and again you not be able to use ahimsa. And as I started this class, how is your relation with your parent, and how this is impacting every aspect of your life, in your choices, in your professional choices. So there's a lot of questions. Can you see? And they, in fact, are very easy to answer. You only have to think a little bit more and see that this is the basic, this is the virtues of what we need to evolve, and it's also the human values, or let's say the noble values. So as we align to all these areas, our life become, let's say, so, let's say, rounded. So it's missing me the word. So perfect, so flowing. And because you're doing the right, and because you're thinking of others, because you're taking care of our planet, prosperity comes. And as you keep doing that, you're going to start to create a beneficial ascending spiral of spirituality, which you help others, and because you're doing good actions, you also receive that. So yoga needs to, let's say, be out of the tests and goes to our life, and in the small attitudes. This is green yoga, because green in the way of the environment which you are living, and of course, and especially the nature which we need, and it's connected with us. How are we going to live without water? How are we going to live without food? Did you think about that? How are we going to live without animals which help us to pollinize the flowers and make the soil better and create this whole, let's say, food chain? So we cannot think that we are separate from nature and from the environment. It's an ignorance, it's avidya. We need to very clearly understand that we are connected to all and everything. And if we start thinking about that, we also automatically going to think about how I behave and how my attitudes are, let's say, impacting others. So I could bring a lot of dates of how human being is deforesting our woods, and how the sea is dying and how the air is being polluted and how much toxins the soils have, and so on. But I decided to bring more the essence in these reflections and use this time to create this, let's say, simple think and reflect about the essence of yamas and niyamas. So if you would like to, I don't know, talk a little bit more about that or give your comment, you can write to me and we can have a deeper talk about it. It's going to be a pleasure for me. And I'm sure you also have a lot of things that you can think and contribute with that, because this is our life. So you know about what is happening to your life and how people is interacting to you and how their behaviors influence you. So it's only observing and realizing this. And this is, let's say, the first step to help our planet and to understand that if I commit or I'm committed with these basic principles, these yamas and niyamas, I can do different. And I become the transformation that I want to see in this planet. And I, let's say, communicate that with my friends, with my girlfriend, my boyfriend, with my family, and they also understanding can contribute to other people, and then, let's say, little by little, the society becomes a better society. And the last thing is that we really need to think about nature and apply yoga in nature, helping animals, helping soils, water, air, everything that nature belongs. Because if we don't do that, we're not going to survive. And this is not something that is, let's say, a lie, because we are already observing the changes, the climate change, and the changes in the forests, in the sea. And this is going to be worse. So it's not about creating an NGO. You could do that. It's beautiful. But it's about making the change inside. And if everyone developed yamas and niyamas, the world would be completely different. So this is, let's say, the message. And as I told you, if you want to comment more, it's going to be a pleasure, and we can talk more in depth of everything. Okay? So again, it's a great pleasure to be here, to be part of all this amazing yoga conference. And I wish you all the best, all the healthy, the spiritual realization, all the blessings. Namaste.